I do not understand what your guarantee is based on.
They want to be unique.
They want to park their expensive cars so that everyone, they are already on a different level of life.
Everything is just not my energy at all.
They taught us a lot about how to live. This is where it all begins. How to live beautifully.
Hello, friends. Today, this episode will be interesting for everyone who wants to earn a guaranteed 10 to 40% annual return in the real estate market in Dubai. And today, I want to show you the opportunities of the real estate market in Dubai from a completely different perspective. Sergey, Valentin, I welcome you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Allow me to announce your credentials. I have noted them down and I will definitely read them out now. Today, I have the co-owners of the DCI Group, which is a partner of Absolute Construction Service in Russia and St. Petersburg. The company was founded in 2006 and launched projects such as the Moments Ripon Village, the Landrin Loft Clubhouse, Georg Landrin, New Peterhof, the Parade Quarter, and others. Tumkov Design is also part of the DCI Group, specializing in architectural design and project management. Milk Bureau specializes in the furnishing of villas and apartments.
Right. Everything is correct.
Sergey, Valentin, let's start with introductions. Please introduce yourselves and tell us about your company, both in Dubai and in Russia.
Good afternoon. My name is Sergey Fomin.
I am a co-founder and managing partner of DCI Group, which is engaged in renovation, investment renovation, construction, and development in Dubai and St. Petersburg. Hello, I am Valentin Tumkov, an architect and the founder and director of an architecture firm in St. Petersburg. And now I am a co-founder and partner of DCI Group in Dubai.
Guys, you have very impressive experience. When I got acquainted with your company, your numerous websites, and the work you have done, I was truly impressed. And I understand that at this moment in the Dubai market, the offer you are presenting has greatly interested me, because I also work with investors to attract investments in business and real estate in Dubai. Let's discuss this in more detail now, because I don't understand what your guarantee is based on, as you claim that you guarantee returns for investors from 10 to 40%. How?
Well, let's start by saying that we differentiate between 10% and up to 22-24% on renovations. Yes, we can confirm the figures with completed transactions, and we can show examples. We have calculations for clients and we have calculations for agents. When we talk about figures like 40%, in some areas for the construction of new villas, this can reach significantly higher amounts, but it requires a bit more time because construction can take up to 36 months. We are building villas from scratch and we are focusing on areas where there are already large developers. So to speak, we join them by developing plans in areas where the community development is already in its middle stages or is nearing completion. When we talk about those very 10, 12, 15 or 20% in renovations, we all know that there are areas in Dubai that were built 10, 14 or 16 years ago. They are green and not gated, closed communities. There are currently many thousands, hundreds of houses that have not undergone any repairs or major renovations and so on. Due to their very good position within the city, access to schools, access to malls, and relatively comfortable movement along Sheikh Zayed Road and Al Hail, they are popular and compete with areas such as Dubai Hills at the same price category, especially when families are looking for apartments, for example, both for long-term rent and buying-selling. But by this autumn, by this September, we have reached such a level of quality, understanding of the market, and the unification of a whole group of our subcontractors who carry out work under our project management. The deals that are currently happening and will take place in the coming months, as there are complex matters regarding mortgages, we will see the highest transactions in history for two-bedroom apartments in townhouses in Springs. We have just closed the largest historical deal in Springs 12. Right now, we are waiting for buyers to gather their funds and continue and complete the transactions. There will also be mortgage deals at 9 and 5 Springs, which will be an additional 200,000 more than the current historical deal that has broken all records. If we are talking about failing there, how do we achieve this? I anticipate the question that we had a meeting yesterday and a major partner visited us.
From India?
He said, well, Why do we need this project management? If we essentially know and understand how to make this property beautiful, how to resell it, we have real estate. Theoretically, yes, everyone understands that there is a property that can be renovated. Just look at us. Many are already copying us, including our presentations, design elements, and certain touches that we, so to speak, introduced into the springs. However, they will spend time and will not earn as much money as we guarantee in our deals. They will not be engaged in this around the clock like our team. This is quite a serious job, and if we only see a part of it during our meetings in the office. The back office and the second office in Dubai, along with several marketing offices and teams, as well as the team working on architecture and design in St. Petersburg, form a huge team. People do not understand that even preparing the documents to start construction and renovation is a significant professional effort that must be done with expertise and intelligence. Simply doing repairs on such a villa will not make it sell above market value, and just building a villa in a community of the same size and layout as the neighbors will not be a high transaction. Yes, it will be a villa and they will make money, but not at the same rates we offer. Our company was established not long ago, but the development of all projects has been ongoing since 2019. Moreover, we have experience in team project management, architecture, and design, and we have also met with all these end users and hundreds of investors. We understand what is needed by some and others. At this moment, we clearly understand that we are currently targeting 4 areas in Dubai where we are ready to sign documents and showcase our transactions. Additionally, we provide a guarantee after we deliver this unit to the final user. We know where to go, how to build, what mistakes to avoid, and where not to spend money on these mistakes. We also understand what the layout of each villa should be and where we can conduct experiments, which will likely be successful due to the high demand from final users who visited our properties and suggested improvements. Returning to the question of what project management means for investors and end users, all of us who work in construction and renovation, and those who will watch our release, understand the overall quality of work in the market. If everyone tries to save costs, who are the people that will come to the site and work with their hands? This task has been resolved for us. We have teams that will deliver the quality we promise on time, the same quality that we demonstrate in our current other projects. And for clients, in the form of a partnership between the agent and the investor, there will be absolutely no headaches at all. That is, we have specified deadlines in the documents, we have outlined budgets, and we do not exceed them. Everyone receives daily video reports from Monday to Saturday about what is happening before and during. At the site, they ultimately receive what we have depicted in the render several weeks or months before the project starts. And we create them with the team, not based on how cool it would be or any ambitions of the designer. In some cases, in Dubai, our designers from the CIS use this approach. We rely on the fact we can quickly deliver materials to the site readily available. If we are limited in budget, in renovations, springs, middles, and the Emirates living area, we have a rather short, let's say, estimate for the renovation, and we need to optimize our internal resources significantly. Of course, if we are working with the final user and looking at different figures regarding square footage, as well as the height of tiles and ceilings, such as in Palma, Dubai Hills, District 1, Jumeirah, and so on, there is certainly room to expand, like in Dorchester and Blue Waters. We can also supply materials from other countries, and of course, find advantages here and there.
Sergey, we will definitely get to the production part because I want to dive into that a bit. As everyone who lives in Dubai knows that we have certain problems here with contractors, with meeting deadlines and handing over projects. I am not talking about state developers right now. I am specifically discussing renovations. So now we will talk about the fact that you have a product designed for end consumers. If someone is looking for a good place to live with their family, you have specific offers where you provide residential areas that are green, well-maintained, and good neighborhoods in the city of Dubai with quality renovation. But what interests me more right now is the investment proposal. And now we are reaching out to investors, and I want to break it down clearly. For example, an investor watches our release and says, wow, 40% per annum. I like that figure. We don't look at 10. The entire Dubai market offers 10, but I like 40. And when he comes to you and says, guys, I want to get these guarantees, you write this down in the document and you specify exactly how you will implement it. That is, the investor comes in and says, guys, I want 40% per annum. I like what you are offering as a guarantee. What is stipulated in the contract, I also like it because practically no one offers this. In other words, we potentially understand how we can expect the market to grow. And when investors enter any property, we can only make assumptions. No one guarantees how much the price of this property will increase. You have these guarantees. This means that he comes to you and you can already offer him some individual proposals, i.e., each investor is no longer just investing money in the company. He is investing in a specific property, right? Yes. Please tell me in more detail, that is, what is your uniqueness in the company, in project management, in that you have vast analytical market experience and you specifically know which property to invest in? You can calculate in advance and specify in the contract exactly how much a particular investor will earn on this property.
Am I understanding correctly? Let me explain.
Look, in order for us to start opening Google Maps and discussing with the investor where we are going, which area, and generally discussing the building, villa, apartments, and so on, we need 3 indicators. How much is he willing to invest? How long can he work with this money? And what is the minimum ROI he wants to achieve from this period and from the amount he is investing?
So, regarding the guarantee,
If he wants to see these percentages in the documents, then he provides money under a percentage agreement, and we guarantee the money under the percentage. At the same time, the choice of property is completely up to us, and we will not engage in lengthy dialogues and discussions about which specific property we are selecting for these figures, and most likely it will be faster.
In other words, he shouldn't be concerned about this because your expertise is already here. You specify in the contract what guaranteed return he will receive.
If he is not included in the title deed, but provides money under a contract where he is supposed to receive interest after 12 months, which we discussed with them, yes, we can sign this. It works. If he wants to be the owner of this villa, townhouse, and everything else, either with his agent or on his own, we select the property and he becomes the owner. We are signing several agreements where we act as project management for the renovation. All this. We organize events and also involve agents who sell exclusively, and we set and specify the minimum amount that we all together need to sell, because this is our joint project, and we wouldn't want to lose our money. This means we could find ourselves in a slight problem if we have invested effort and resources, created a great product, and it starts selling above the market in this area, especially during the season, which would happen quite quickly. We then protect ourselves in the documents, so that if suddenly someone changes their mind or sees how well we did and says they would like to live there themselves, or if they are offered a rental position above the market with a 20% increase over the average rental price and they want to rent out this villa, then of course the entire scheme of investing, buying and selling falls apart. And we are already outlining our guarantees in this contract because we are already acting in such a secure manner here. Therefore, there are 2 options. The investment component, where we outline the figures and percentages both here and there. There are also options when end users contact us and we have the same deadlines for these same projects.
What are the average timelines for renovation? For example, take springs.
Look, we take on the responsibility that, for example, if this is a Springs 2-bedroom, we need to understand that the documents always state 1690 square feet for a 2-bedroom. But in reality, if we go into the calculations of square meters and the actual living area, it is 91 square meters. Just as Martin planned it all. It is unclear why documents are issued, so for the market, we say that for a 2-bedroom villa, we have exactly 90 days from the moment of receiving the knock. The 3-legged villa is 184 there, 190 square meters with extensions. It will take us 4 months. Detached villas, 3-4, 1,000 square feet with an extension, facade wall with damage, as well as everything down to the foundation. For concrete, it is 6 months. If we are talking about some complex projects, renovation up to probably 500, 600 meters, it can take 6 to 8 months. If we are talking about construction from scratch with a ready-made project, where no changes need to be made, we need about a month and a half to obtain a building permit. Then 12-14 months for the construction of a villa with a simple basement, without parking, without elevators, and so on. If we are talking about a villa construction project of up to 1,200-1,300 square meters with an underground parking lot, plus a basement, plus a ground floor, plus one additional floor, plus a usable roof, or if there will be an extra floor in the form of a room, master bedroom, spa, it doesn't matter. We need 5 months for the development of project documentation, for obtaining a construction permit, and also 14 to 16 months for the construction of a villa with a full underground parking lot over 1,000 square meters. If we are talking about larger projects, we are ready to discuss this, probably at our office.
So based on your own experience, you also draft contracts and guarantee the deadlines. So good, excellent. I understand how the guarantee is issued for investors. I understand how and on what basis your guarantee regarding timelines is provided. But now I am curious as an investor to understand that it is not enough to just renovate. It is necessary to sell it afterwards, as the profitability arises precisely at this stage. How has your company organized this process, and how can you confidently claim that you already have experience in selling your own properties at the top of the market?
Yes, we have a secret ingredient. Our unique technology for communicating with the market from our sales and marketing departments. We cannot disclose this because it is a fairly simple solution that always leads to irritation throughout the market in the form of comments directed at us, claiming that it won't work, but it does work. Therefore, we can discuss this with the client when we are already at the stage of signing the contract and reveal these things directly one-on-one, face-to-face, because if we release this information to the market on open YouTube now, then our secret ingredient will simply be stolen. We wouldn't want to do that. I'll just say one thing. We are open, meaning we have no exclusives. I believe this only works for higher price ranges, specifically prices of 4, 5, 6 million. In general, if we look at the DLD statistics and examine the open data, such as Emirates living area or other similar areas like Arabian ranches, we find that 33-36% are mortgage clients who do not have enough funds for a full purchase. And if we talk about the fact that we have quite a complicated sale, because it is in the form of renovation. I will explain that when we talk about townhouses and standalone villas, these have the lowest price points, which makes them difficult to work with. We understand that we are not allocating enough resources to notify the market and build our sales structure. Therefore, we will talk about this ingredient that we have developed, works, and exists, but only when we discuss a specific property and, of course, our comments and recommendations. If there is money and it is possible to move into separate standalone villas, it will certainly be easier for everyone to work there. The agent will receive a larger commission, and it will be easier for us to work because at least there are no neighbors. However, for both us and the agent, who also participates in the distribution of profits and commissions at the end, the cost and profitability of the project for standalone villas significantly exceeds that of townhouses.
Sergey, can you provide an example with specific numbers and cases right now? For instance, if an investor decides to invest in the renovation of a villa, for example, in Springs, how much could they potentially earn? Or, for example, regarding the past case, it is clear that everything is calculated individually, and probably it is difficult to talk about future projects, right? About past cases.
Well, we definitely need to talk about future projects because the market in this area is growing organically by 22-24% annually. Therefore, if we bought a villa at the price we did, it is now impossible to purchase something for that amount, even after just 1 quarter. All villas become more expensive than the basic, even those that are not renovated. Besides us, there are several other teams in the market that are engaged in renovations, but they lack the project management approach and understanding of how to make the interior of a villa stand out in the market. Here, we will probably let Valentin speak. And how to ensure that this sale happens, and happens quickly enough. If we are talking about figures, again, we are ready to discuss absolute figures at the meeting. I will say a few things. We spend almost twice as much on renovation as any other company that does, at least in the MRA area. They do not demolish the structure of the building, and so on. Therefore, when people come to us and say that we are overpriced, we are ready to discuss this and compare lists. And there, the April rains also revealed some moments in the areas, such as how the waterproofing works or doesn't work in all the others, how they monitor the houses, and so on, regarding the numbers. You also asked if it is possible to achieve a 30% annual return on the renovation of properties. These figures can be achieved, but it is a complex and extensive task. However, it can be done by simply managing 2 projects over the course of a year. Here, it is important to understand that we need to initially take on projects that will not yield 22-24 if we are talking about mid-range or 3-bedroom villas, but rather to take on average ones, possibly acquiring something at distressed prices where there is a family divorce issue and they want to urgently sell this villa, or someone owes money and needs to offload the villa, or where there is a shortfall in mortgage payments. We are quite deep in the market, and we have many people who provide us with information about what is happening at the moment regarding all villas. We receive some insider information every 2 to 3 days about where we can discuss something, some distress situation, meaning at a price slightly lower than the average market value for such villas. And these deals, if you manage to issue checks within 2 to 3 days, are good for entering at a lower price than simply coming to the market. We will also slightly reduce the budget for renovations a bit lower down so that it can be done faster and the quotation for the full renovation is not so high. And in order to enter the market more quickly to sell a 2-story villa once in 6 months and then immediately enter the second one and sell it twice. But I will say again that for properties up to 100 meters of standalone townhouses, we are talking about 10%. That is, we can achieve some incredible overall profit of approximately around 10 to 15% from there within 6 to 8 months, which is quite incredible. That is, we take 90 days for renovation, and we always specify in the contract 1 quarter for sales.
So it turns out that, returning to your first phrase, when an investor comes in, he needs to answer 3 questions, including how much he would like. Based on your own extensive experience, you can offer him what options are currently available in the market to fulfill this investor's request, right? Everything is clear to me now regarding the process of why there are guarantees and what kind of expertise is involved. You know, I have a rather practical question that interests me right now. Here in Dubai, when entire communities are launched, they are all offered in a similar, let's say, design and in the same design. On one hand, it is understandable why developers do this, but on the other hand, it becomes so cloying that one craves some individuality.
For example, you have
Take similar strings. For 2-bedroom villas, do you have a repeating design or is each villa something individual? I understand that, Valentin, you are responsible for the production part of the company, including architecture and design. That all falls on you. What is your internal approach? How is the entire process organized?
Let's start with the fact that we all come from the Russian market, and we have completed a very large number of projects in Russia, and we are experienced and worn out by the Russian client, who is very demanding. On one hand, we are somewhat tired of this endless race for the perfect product, but here, in the Dubai market, it has become a very cool skill that allows us to approach any project with a deep initial analysis.
In other words, we enter the site and we are no longer looking for simple solutions, like just throwing down tiles or not making windows or something of that sort. In other words, we find right away there are indeed some spatial advantages that can be highlighted in this property. We find an organic stylistic direction for a specific property, not just because it is a trend, but because it fits organically into the existing landscape. This is indeed such a deep professional approach that it is very difficult for an ordinary, let's say, casual renovator to tackle. And let's say it is impossible to combine this in a company, to combine it in one person in the company. This is crazy work. It is a whole direction in business that one must be responsible for. In general, I emphasized Sergey's words regarding our unexpected competitors. Yes, indeed, it is not a complicated project. With such depth of approach, it is practically impossible to do this. Our direction, my direction in the company, is to sit down and immerse myself in a specific product. And each new unit, in terms of its location, what kind of fruit it has, and what mood and vibe we want to achieve from it. All of this indeed falls within the competencies of our team. It's a certain game, actually, because roughly speaking, in the usual practice in Russia, we worked with the final client, yes, and we worked on the assignment. They taught us a lot about how to live. This is where we begin to learn how to live beautifully, indeed. And this is where the game begins, as we kind of create this image and offer it to the market. We have accumulated so much already. We know so much. Take it. Hold it. One of the very key points, which is indeed very important, is that we are heavily regulated by the investment aspect. Let's put it this way. Every project has an investment component. How much can we invest? While ensuring ROI for clients and staying within the timeline to maximize efficiency and productivity, while maintaining high standards of quality. So, having created this image, the next step involves a significant effort to maintain this image within the budget. This is also a big deal because, in many ways, if we dive into the details now, into our renders, our expectations, let's say we find such tiles. It doesn't quite match up somewhere. From start to finish, we carefully make decisions during the replacement process, making changes to preserve the image as much as possible. Therefore, this applies to any project, including the renovation of a small villa, and naturally our experience. In Russia, it indeed allows us to talk about both construction and quite a lot.
Well, we will talk about construction separately. It's a whole block for me. It differs in that there are certain advantages for the investor when working with you, not only from the perspective of marketing, sales, market analytics, and understanding which project to enter in order to achieve, let's say, the desired investments. In this production process, it is also of immense importance. How to meet deadlines while delivering a quality product, and how to make possible design changes within the villa. I don't know. Maybe increase a window because the properties sold here are strange. Sometimes you look at them and think, what is this door doing here, and so on. Based on this experience, considering that you have communicated with end consumers, you can quickly say, and with this team of designers and architects, create a project that will be unique. Very quickly. Because flipping in Dubai is organized in a certain way. People do not think about improvement. That is, they come in, externally repaint the walls, replace the flooring, create the interior, add curtains, and so on. And that's it. This is basically what flipping is all about. So you have a deeper process here. And probably this is what actually affects the price that Sergey mentioned. Why are you so confidently able to sell at the upper limit, perhaps?
Yes, well, not only that, we assume that let's say we occupy a significant space and offer a unique product. We assumed, well, because we saw it on property finders, well, in general, locally. Let's do it this way. We look at the offers on local portals, and in the photos, they sometimes look quite decent. That is, well, photographers deserve credit. However, not so long ago. Not long ago, we just so happened to monitor a significant number of properties together with a few more potential buyers.
And this finally put, physically going through the entire Transamp, physically experiencing it inside, seeing everything that the so-called competitors are doing, thank them for setting the same price as us and raising the market for us.
No, we were pleasantly surprised. It helped us become even more confident because it concerns the overall work of the team. In what condition we keep the properties before selling, which yes, we do. We spend funds on the maintenance of the properties, but we offer a completed project that you can move into tomorrow, where there are no cockroaches, where there is no dust accumulating, where the air conditioners are always working, where the gardeners are always present, and where cleaning takes place once a week. This is all to create the feeling that people are already living in the property, but in fact, we are living there. Really. I hope that we will be able to maintain this approach through the years of our company's development. That is why one of our strategies, as we discussed, is that we are unlikely to move towards a mass product, and we will always be to scale based on the size and complexity of projects rather than their quantity.
Great. Now we have logically approached the topic of construction because I really want to delve deeper into this subject and demonstrate your approach. And perhaps the most interesting thing right now from the perspective of investments in the production aspect is to reveal your approach. So the first thing probably is how the plot is probably selected to understand where to build. Next, what is the level of involvement and how is the design process organized? Again, if you look at any settlements like Achilles, for example, the villas are all identical. You walk in and it's all the same. It's the flaw of some designer architect. It repeats in every villa. How is this process organized on your end? Both construction and opportunities are also interesting to me from an investment perspective.
Well, let me briefly start by talking about the set of locations where we are currently ready to enter projects, and then we will dive into the internal story of each property, regardless of whether it is renovation or construction. That is, again, our story is a continuation of the thought about the springs, that we sit down, we have a task, meaning we start from the task of how much money we need to earn during this period within this budget. So, and again, what is being built? It is clear that if these are finished properties and the MAR does not allow any extensions to be made, then we have strict limitations on size, and we are already applying creativity within those constraints. That is, we are already looking at what the spring number is, how the villa is located in relation to the roads. Naturally, everyone understands that Lakeview, back-to-back, road-facing, or backing, these are all different prices. There are certain numbers of springs where we generally do not work, because villas on the market are cheaper, but they will be just as cheap later on when sold. That is, there is a whole list there, and I probably won't enumerate it all right now. But it is a significant analytical task. We are already receiving a Google marker for this, and we can even avoid visiting the site, at least not in meadows or lakes, spring. By the marker, we understand whether this is a working project and if it will reach the figures we have planned with the investor at the end. And of course, most of them, or rather not most, there are 99 of these Google points that are sent to our network. We discard them because they are not viable projects, they are overpriced somewhere, and so on and so forth. If we are talking about standalone villas that do not yet exist and we need to build them, I will pass the word to Valentin here because I will finish later. There is more, meaning this list doubles, and there is room for creativity. And at this point, the team steps in, fully immersing themselves in it.
Valentina, this is a huge responsibility. You see the plot. You must understand what kind of villa should be there from the perspective of its sale. Because the investor invests, and then in your sales department, you need to sell this villa to the end consumer so that they come in and say, this is my home, I want to live here. In other words, how to organize this as a profitable process.
Well, the beginning of any project is the technical specification. And once again, we return to how important the team is and how the sales department can influence the final product. The market response means that we sit down and formulate the technical assignment together. There is a constant request for what is needed and how it should be done. And, roughly speaking, we determine the number of rooms, areas, and everything else. This is it. The working version and market demand. Then we apply all our professional experience with space, materials, and vision to create a complete product from it. Once again, it can simply be noted that this is not a race for trends. Our company has no desire. Each department must definitely work and do something. Well, studying the competitors, this is their approach. This again raises the question that they focus on the number of properties, and it's impossible to pour one's soul into the creativity of each one. And many of them resemble a materials fair. That is, there are panels, there are brass inserts, and we can see these details from a decade ago, and they don't even have the ability to keep up with the trends, right? Not only do they try to find them, but they also make sure that it doesn't turn into trends. In other words, it becomes wallpaper on concrete. However, we still strive to create a certain artistic image. In fact, we can talk about it, but there are companies here in Dubai, and we see that they are doing a great job. In other words, there are properties that you look at and you understand that people are working here.
I think that you, regarding the figure for choosing the site and everything else, of course, it involves the immersion of the team that is responsible for the content. And yes, I confirm that there is this race for volumes. They are shaping and shaping. It works as a business. Everything exists. And for companies that deliver relatively good quality, there is a queue for construction projects with them of 11, 14 months. So if you approach them now, they will say, well, guys, let's meet in a year or a year and a half, and then maybe we can start. We currently have a slightly different approach. Let's see where we grow. We have a strategy for 3 to 5 years. We want to apply quality in some closed communities. This is for future interviews and podcasts. The raft. Numbers. Again, the most important thing for us is that we have an outgoing proposal, but the incoming story consists of 3 positions. How much we need to earn from the money that is allocated for work during this period. And we are looking at where the settlement is already in the final stages, because there is Chevelblan. And yesterday, Sotheby's announced that they are filling in the land and starting to sell for 2,700 before the square feet fee. And there you can build. I get calls from groups of friends who are involved in all of this, but I understand that this is 7 years. It's 7 years, and it may not be clear how quickly they will fill in the sand, how quickly they will get the permits. Class, our off-plan is super. It will sell, and most likely everything will be sold on the off-plan now. But we do not work with off-plan if it is not our project. We will build our own, of course. We will open off-plan, and we are looking at where we have the opportunity to build a villa. For example, yes, it will take 2 years, 20, 24 months, where it is already coming to an end, because building on the sand of the initial territory or the launch at H&H was also there. Nothing is happening. We have seen these people who came to other properties who were in construction. Most of the comments can be grouped into target audience categories and groups of similar responses, where there are just people with 40, 60 or 80 million dirhams who come to our property and say, listen, this is a great property, but the neighbors are still under construction. We might live somewhere in a rental for now. Maybe we'll come back in 2 years, or maybe we'll buy something else. In other words, the final users are not ready to enter this story at the final price. And we understand that this is an investment project. It is clear that we have investors, our team, and we are producing, building, and erecting all of this. But what is most important to us is the minimum target price we need to reach, and not when the project is completed, but we are doing showings right after receiving the title deed. We present this in renders, in the presentation. Our presentations should be shown to the final clients in the way we create them. There is no need to redo them. If someone is working with us in the market, they cut something out. We have unbranded, there are no contacts, and we understand that we have this amount of money and there are 2 years for the construction of the villa. We need to get at least 40-60% from there, which we must obtain. Of course, if we enter at the stage of basic plots from the master developer, they will be cheaper and the ROI will be higher, but we will have to wait those 2 to 3 years while everyone else builds the shell and core and then turns it all into final villas. Therefore, we advocate for finding problematic areas in communities that have been under development for at least 2 to 3 years, where someone has run out of funds and cannot continue construction, and the master developer is already imposing fines for the halted work. We look at the situation and assess how much we can build within this area using our secret ingredients, where we might be able to increase the space beyond the allowable limits according to the documents. And we look there. Yes, the villa should cost around 700 square meters, at least 40 million. We go to the sites. We don't just work in the office. As Valentin said, we live on the sites and visit our competitors, and we are not shy about coming there and working at full capacity. We travel and see what is available for 40 million right on the neighboring plots. Along this line, 100 meters away, 200 meters away. What kind of tiles they are laying? We look at the boxes to see where they were brought from. We already have an understanding of what these people will have in 8 months, like a finished villa, what kind of windows they will have, and where they brought them from. But all the production work inside that exists. We come and see, of course, what the final quality will be. we no longer need to come to this villa. It already costs 40, and with our quality, which we demonstrate in other areas, and at the top of the markets, we are raising it. We understand that here, these 39,900 are on the invested 25 million for the construction of a villa in Dubai Hills. We understand that this will be a great price and a fairly quick sale because everything is coming to an end, and we will deliver something that the neighbors will...
Better than the competitors.
We do not consider what we saw in Dubakil as competition. So 40 million is our base price there for villas of 700, 800 square meters, which we will specify in the documentation, below which we do not sell together with the investor. Additionally, we have dynamic pricing, where we work with the agent. In most cases, there is some POA representative of the client. At this point, clients do not participate in all the dialogues, where we say that if we make it so beautiful and of high quality, within the budget that we have already agreed upon and signed, the POA villa will be 42, 44, 46, for example, at 139th and 900. Then we also, of course, want to participate in the distribution of part of the final profit among us, the POA and the agent. And of course, a large portion of this additional profit will go to the investor.
So, all right. Do you know what question has come up now? I would like to share a bit of information about how perhaps it should be compared. That is, you work in the Russian market, you have extensive experience, and you are currently working in the Dubai market. There are many different interesting, humorous stories regarding the quality of the renovations here and the quality of the production of the same furniture. I'm just curious. At this point, the majority of finishing materials are still purchased here in Dubai, and you don't see any problem with that. Or the market is changing and growing every year in response to the demands of these discerning clients who are now arriving, including from Russia, and they want to see completely individual designs, furniture of entirely different quality, and so on. As someone who works with production every day, do you perhaps have any interesting stories? And share your opinion about the Dubai market. How much does it differ from the market for finishing materials, furniture, and so on?
I probably understand why it is like this here. 90% of the population in Dubai live in rental properties, on temporary work contracts, and may never return here after 2 to 3 years. Therefore, accordingly, the construction market here is tailored to the fact that there are no requirements and there has been no demand. Now the times are changing a bit. Dubai is being chosen for living. Accordingly, there is a demand for quality. There was a boom among our compatriots, and in general, the world somehow took notice, and the demand for a good product has emerged. In general, this, in turn, attracts contractors of a different level here. We worked with the local guys in the initial stages. Well, it's a pain. This is daily pain. It is uncontrollability. It is absolute uncontrollability of the process, and it is impossible to influence them with anything, not even finances. We all know that here in Dubai, the methods that are accepted back home, there is an influence where you can even speak with profanity and all that. Here we are currently restrained, and unfortunately, the pressure tools that exist here do not work with local contractors. We have formed a pool of partners and are continuously expanding it as the volume of work grows, ensuring that it remains manageable. We are constantly negotiating with them and addressing issues to keep everything as controllable as possible. We switched to compatriots, and we are working now, but I can definitely note that there are several local contractors with whom we found common ground and continue to work, who are very responsible and always ready to help. I think this is a question of the level of this request, which attracted such a large number of unqualified workers here because it was unnecessary. But among them, there are some really great engineers, educated, who work both in Saudi Arabia and here, and generally throughout the entire peninsula.
Therefore, constant monitoring and communication are essential, and this way, a reliable pool is developed. I would like to add that it is important to understand that for renovation projects, our budget is limited, and we work very carefully with those with whom we have already established relationships and teach them something. In production, especially in furniture production. But if we are talking about higher price points, then of course, it will be delivery. This is just a very brief summary, 100%. This will be production, not in the territory of the United Arab Emirates. And the request will be, well, Europe, Russia. For now, this situation is not established here, and probably it will not be established in the near future.
The fact is that on short projects, which we have planned for 6 months, including sales, we simply do not have the physical capability to meet the delivery deadline. It's not even a matter of budget here, because it actually aligns.
As soon as we reach 7 to 8 months of construction. Yes, if we are talking about the construction of villas, which are again properties of 500 square meters, and with a budget significantly exceeding our figures for renovation, of course, this will be custom made, which will not be done here. Well, the quality will be accordingly.
Sergey, can you tell us what kind of interaction your company has with brokers?
We are open to all brokers who are indeed ready to engage in our project. This is again not an off-plan project where large launches are prepared. Everything looks very beautiful in presentations, but the actual physical building of the apartment or villa will come later. In 3, 4, 5 years. Therefore, resales and renovations at the top of the market. We have figures for properties that are currently being sold, have been sold, and will be sold, as well as several properties that are currently in progress. These are the highest checks and feedback from agents who, let's say, do not want to get involved and spend time claiming that we are incorrectly pricing and that our properties are overpriced. Therefore, we wish for them to wait for the title deed from us, and then we can talk again when our deal at our price happens. That is, we do not have a real estate license. We do not have our own brokers. All sales occur in the market outside our company, but we monitor and control everything that happens around the properties, such as how showings are conducted, who arrives at what time, what presentations are provided. We have a specific protocol for how this should take place. We are always open to those who are willing to ask us to spend time explaining why this project is expensive, especially for the end user who comes in, and we understand that working with mortgage clients up to 5 million is even more challenging than with clients over 10 million.
And an agent of the agency, agents within the company, a manager. We communicate with everyone. We are always open to dialogue. Anyone can visit our website, see our office, and find information on how to reach us by phone or write an email openly. It's not that they are open. We ask them to do this easy immersion audit with us, and then it will be easier for them to sell because everyone stops at one point, meaning everyone tells the same story about what incredible marketing there will be, what an incredible message it will be, that they will put all their strength and effort into it. And as soon as, let's say we are already experienced guys, as soon as the listing is signed, then basically all the messaging, their expression, and the message end there. Therefore, these properties simply do not sell through listings or incoming calls. When we talk about properties that cost $10, $15, or $20 million, it is clear that one person needs to be dedicated to this, possibly even as an exclusive agent. These individuals are more immersed in their clients, dealing with amounts ranging from $5 to $15 million. They understand how to communicate with them. They certainly have a different appearance. When we talk about the springs, this is not some kind of closed information. 4 English companies and another 650 individuals, in addition to these 4 companies, are trying to control the merits leaving areas. We are familiar with everyone, we know everyone, we communicate with everyone, but we need to apply creativity. We apply creativity within the properties. We apply creativity and gather the best positions in the market and compile all of this into a presentation. We always hold brainstorming sessions to add new features, make it easier to work in this market. Open access to videos and photos. No one needs to come to our properties, as usual. Let us take the photos. Here are the originals for you, the unbranded versions. If you want to create social media content there, go ahead.
Complete marketing support.
We need to understand that this person will present this unit correctly to the end user, rather than it just being part of a series of showings. If this will be a series of showings, we just shouldn't start, and 98% of the dialogues end with the fact that the listing is not enough for us. There should be social media, there should be advertisements in all of the company's resources. These are not just the proportions of Finder, Dubi, Zalabayut. There should be internal resources used within the company. Social media should also be included. But first of all, it's all useless if a person hasn't spent 15, 20 minutes with us, hasn't communicated, hasn't asked, guys, are you crazy? For a 2-bedroom, well, 4 million dirhams. They are currently priced at 2,600 on the market, there on the road. And at Lakeview, we can buy for 300. What the hell does the end user need to pay another 800,000 for? And we sit down, explaining that we have 29 positions for renovation. We have technology for floor installation, wall sanding, just like it should be in Europe, in the CIS, and how it should be. We have replaced all the drainage systems, and we have replaced all the electrical wiring. We provide a guarantee. And in the documents that are currently being signed for new deals, we, as we are growing and acting as developers, offer a 1-year guarantee on the work from our renovators. The tiles were thrown down, the glue came off, goodbye. Hello, where are the renovators? Oh, they are not here. We write it down in the documents. You can always come to us or call. If something is broken, if something doesn't turn on, or if there's a leak, we do our work in a way that we are ready to take responsibility for it. Just as in the investment aspect, the same applies to the technical aspect for each of the properties. Although we are not developers, and according to local laws, a 1-year warranty must be provided, we simply offer this option to the market from our side, and most agents do not even reach this dialogue. You understand? They don't know that we have this list at the end, meaning this is my pain. Yes, from our sales department. I will also mention a few more items that we have. One document for one property. It contains absolutely everything. Sizes, layout, how much it costs, support. From this side, list of works, how it was, how it has become. 3D, 32 pages for a 2-bedroom villa. 46 is an extended presentation, which is when we are already entering into a dialogue. The first page states the price of the property. What do you think is the first question that the agent asks us after receiving the presentation?
How much does the property cost?
That's right. Therefore, there are, yes, I don't know how many there are now, 55,000. We are ready to communicate with those who are willing to dive in and spend time without immersing in renovation projects. This is a challenging business. With a high check, this is what we do is a kind of top-level piloting. If we move into the construction of villas, we can save on this aspect of immersion because the quality itself will guarantee that we are offering the right price and clients will simply buy because it is well made, beautifully designed, and conveniently arranged with everything necessary for living. And yes, there's this story that the agent just conducted a series of showings and it could work with about 20 people plus. But when we are actually doing such preparatory and construction work here, and then it just turns into a series of showings with other units where the lights are off. DL 500 Zerhan hasn't been paid, no one has cleaned for 3 weeks, and the unit is plus 50 degrees. Cockroaches are really crawling around. The wind is blowing sand. We are in Dubai. This is the desert. Here is the door. Everything is dirty. But you shouldn't show our properties in Syria. You should first present our properties as something that a person needs to have for living in this area and among the neighbors. We are familiar with all the tenants and owners in the neighboring villas who live on the same street, and in most cases, when they come, they ask, this could have been done in Spring Sassi. Cool, I want that too. And everyone there, well, there, in different dialogues. That is, we also have a final user in Spring Sake, and there are interesting projects that we can show a bit later. Everything will be available to us in open access on the website. Right now, there are projects that have been completed. Again, the website has investment positions with minimal information before the meeting, such as how much money can be obtained, from which area, and of what size. But regarding the market, this is perhaps it's not just our pain. Many unqualified agents come here hoping to attract a similar mass of thoughtless clients, as was the case in 2022, 2023. I don't know. I don't work there deeply, but we work with the sales department and direct those who are ready to spend time with us on dialogues to the place where they can learn how to sell these villas. And everyone who is working with us there now and showing understands why people will pay 4 million for a 2-bedroom. And the people who come, they see and understand. And of course, the option with a guarantee plays a key role in some current situations with low checks. 4 million in renovation, I believe that this is a low amount for townhouses and standalone villas, because after that, There are apartments and the math changes there. RY can be higher. RY can be in the Marina apartments, GLT around Burj Khalifa 17 within approximately 90 days. But we have a strategy in the company. We do not develop our own network of apartment renovations. We are ready to discuss and collaborate. And of course, it's interesting to see something like Royal Atlantis in Dorchester and similar buildings. Somewhere, Ellington can be improved. But overall, we are not aiming for mass appeal. We are ready for a small quantity, but we want to deliver what we are currently showcasing. By the way, what we share and our investment excursion descriptive meetings can last up to 9 hours. So these 1.5 to 2 hours are the minimum we can and would like to cover, as we are limited. However, we understand that there is much more information we can provide to the market. We have an offer for agents who are ready to work with us after hearing everything we have said about how to earn 4.5% from the secondary real estate market within 12 months. We are announcing an event that will be held by the DCI Group on November 22nd. This will take place at the beautiful Vida Hotel near Emirates Hills. This exclusive event will be in the evening. We need to plan few hours for the visit. There we will reveal this position as the main one. We will also have the managers of the staging mobilization department speaking, and we will discuss the investment components, delve deeper into the numbers, and cover renovation and construction options. Our consulting partners and those responsible for KYC will speak on these issues, primarily to address them for foreigners and users from Europe, particularly from England. And we have a limited number of spots. We will announce it soon. There will probably be a link here under the description. I think that we do not agree with everyone, and most likely we would like to see those who are ready to engage in a dialogue in the manner we specify. That is, to immerse themselves in the projects. We would like to see department heads, those who deal with secondary real estate, because there is a difference between selling off-plan and secondary properties. And of course, we would like to see someone with expertise. And since we will all be working together to attract investors, we must already be speaking the same language by this point.
Great. Friends, we will leave a link to register for this event below our video. If you see this on Instagram, there will definitely be a link somewhere in the profile's bio, so make sure to register, and we will see you at this event. Well, I can't help but ask the question. Given your vision, you have been working in the real estate market for many years. And how do you assess the real estate market in Dubai? Because if we talk about the online space, you open it up and there is a lot of information, especially for beginner investors, specifically for investors who have just started looking in Dubai. We will be watched by Russian-speaking audiences from the CIS countries who may only be looking in this direction, and I would like to hear your professional assessment of this market.
I don't know, for me, for example, as a beginner investor who is just entering the market in Dubai, the most important first step is to find the right expert. This is the one who won't dump 50 off-plan projects on you and then disappear into the abyss, but rather the one who will either stop you or guide you where you need to go.
Friends, I want to make you happy because you have found such experts right now. You can see them in this video. Take the opportunity. No, I'm not joking. Absolutely. Take the chance to sign up for a consultation, because I always tell beginner investors, never consult with just one broker who will tell you fairy tales, the ones you potentially want to hear and the ones that make you go, wow, like that. The numbers are so wonderful. Just to squeeze them in, just to sell. I always say to go and consult with several experts, 1, 2, 3, 4, and compare these indicators. Rely only on analytics. You currently have access to thought experts. We provide links, and you can contact them directly through Instagram or via the website. Consult before you start investing.
I keep everything here. What you said, and we always tell our investors, if they come with their POA or with agents, we provide you with information. Here are the numbers. Here are the areas, here are the buildings or townhouses. Go to 10 random places, just choose unfamiliar people from Property Finder, go to the top ones, and if we understand that there are some agencies working in those areas, then go to them. They are not our people, and get an independent opinion. And most likely, in most cases, they will confirm if they have that interest. Of course, they can lead that person in their own directions, but we practice this. And for those who have doubts and want to verify, please note that the figures we provide can easily be checked with other brokers. They even always say that the figures this is about construction and renovation. Those who don't understand, of course, see it as overpriced, while the others, knowing our quality, have been in touch with us for 3 years now. This story will be confirmed. And in most cases, if you go to Dubai Hills and start asking how those guys are doing, they will know us. Out of 100 brokers, 75 probably already have contacts with us. You will say everything will be fine.
Valentina, continue your thought. That is, the first thing is to choose a good expert.
Yes, and I actually have a life story regarding my first investments in Dubai. I realized this just a few days ago, that after living here and seeing how the market works, how agents operate, as soon as I became an investor arriving in Dubai, I immersed myself in one project and ended up in the hands of the right person who made the right offer and guided me at the right time. And the deals and showed me to tear. And for these 2 years, I thought it was normal. That's how everything works here. But when you start analyzing everything that is happening, you realize it's luck. And therefore, to be honest, you can't just pick up the phone, respond to any advertisement, and go with any agent. That is, the probability of losses is probably 80%. Next, it's about luck and a sensible approach. It's these 20 that need to be sought after. Well, that is definitely not. In general, this work requires people and experts around. Definitely.
From an investment perspective, I really like your offer because I understand that I am currently immersing myself in the real estate market, studying it in great detail. Working with investors, I understand that so far we have no better offer in the Dubai market. From an expertise standpoint, considering that you won't disappear tomorrow like many brokers who have sold a property, I have the opportunity to work with you and bring investors for long-term cooperation. Essentially, an investor who wants to earn in the Dubai market is your regular client. We have entered one property together with you. There are guarantees, so I am not taking any risks, and there are your expertise in analytics, which is lacking in, 80% of the brokers who present themselves here as brokers in Dubai. And guys, a broker who has experience in other markets and a broker who has experience in the market in Dubai are different areas of expertise. And this also needs to be taken into account because the market here is different and it needs to be understood. That's it. Essentially, the broker has brought an investor to you. I'm not only speaking from the investor's side, but also from the broker's side. I have brought an investor to you, and I know that this investor will be engaging with you in deal after deal. I will accompany each transaction and earn from each one. It's good for everyone. It's great for me. You are reliable developers, and the investor is guaranteed to make money. It's beautiful. Super. The offer is super.
We have an offer of 4.5% on secondary real estate for brokers, which continues with the fact that brokers do not need to work. If a person has money, you bring them to us and we start working with them. You accompany the deals and work exclusively on this project. We are ready to handle all the remaining work with our team and only distribute the money when a sale occurs and move on to the next project. And right away, for investors who are looking, this is already a trend in Dubai that yes, there is money, but they would like to try a small project. Our immediate recommendation is to skip the townhouse options and go straight for standalone villas because that's where we have the margins. The outcome will be much more interesting than the taunt phone.
I remembered what we discussed during the briefing and didn't mention it on air. I would like us to state that you have the opportunity for equity participation in terms of investments, and you are personally involved in many projects with your own money. This really appealed to me because when you are participating with your own money, I understand what the approach to selection will be, what the approach to meeting deadlines, quality, and everything else will be.
Yes, we can, but we will likely start participating with our own money after the 4th or 5th property when we understand that we are a family. Because, yes, it's like a marriage for several months or years with the investor.
We are ready to discuss this, but from the start, we need to have the title deed. And let's say that potentially having a problem with the unsold status of this project is a very dangerous and risky story. If we are talking about the second interaction under a different agreement, let's discuss it. We are also ready to connect a group of investors in properties of familiar people who know each other and are willing to go into title lending independently. There is a working option for up to 4 people, and there is experience. Again, it is possible to gather people who do not know each other but will participate in this project. There is already a variety, so to speak, of investment documentation. Yes, we currently exist in our properties somewhere and are 100% involved in investment participation, while in other cases we have equity participation and we do not engage in projects for which we cannot take responsibility later. I mean, you can see and understand when we will be diving into the documentation. It won't be like with brokers, where you can just hand over an off-plan, change your phone number, and then you have nothing. That's not a viable approach at all.
Unfortunately, this is a common story, and there are cases where people say that justice in Dubai is not work or something of that sort. Guys, let's talk about your plans for the future. I'm always curious about where you plan to grow.
It is no secret that, as developers from St. Petersburg, we are planning and nurturing this story here now, while we are gathering some projects and we are communicating with quite large players who are involved in global construction to build their own village in the form of townhouses and villas.
Interesting. What is needed for this?
In construction, everything is very simple. Money is needed for everything, an endless flow of money that will not stop. Development is a somewhat more complex structure than renovation, where we sign the final estimate in the documents. Development involves unexpected elements. Somewhere, the master developer, and here we will always be tied to some large land developer, can stop the project or refuse to approve the delivery of concrete to the site. This can last for everyone working on the project. A certain number of months have passed, and there is no influence on this. That is, it is important to understand that the specifics of the market are somewhat different here. If we compare it to Petersburg, you bought a plot there and are working here. You kind of bought a plot, but you still have a list of rules that you must follow. And sometimes the rules arise during work, and they do not align with your plans and your payment plans. And there you have people gathered for the project, all on visas. A bus is running around picking them up from their place of residence. And then you get stopped from getting permission to deliver concrete because the master developer's villas are not being built on time, and you don't want private development, even in the form of 1 or 2 villas on the same territory, to be constructed faster than his. We are still guests here, and such projects also need to understand that unforeseen circumstances may occur regarding time and everything else. Nevertheless, we are creators. We do not work for volume. We want to create beauty and novelty, to show that it can be done here, that a townhouse and a villa can be more than just simple. 4 bedrooms and 1 family room. The glazing is all the same. You can even create a village with each section of houses, whether they are townhouses, consisting of 4 or 6 variations. As we mentioned, each new renovation is a new design option. Nothing is repeated. Yes, it is more complicated and incurs additional production costs, but this is our strategy. Again, if there are villas, and I understand how this is happening now in the areas where we work, such as Duby Hills and Emerald Hills, where private development is underway with 189 plots purchased by private investors and final users, then when there is an opportunity to purchase 6 plots and build 6 villas, of course, they need to be all different. And we see that local developers, or those from Saudi Arabia, who came in and bought several plots nearby, have built several identical villas next to each other. But guys, people will be buying for 40-50 million. They want to be unique. They want to park their expensive cars. In other words, they are already at a different level of life. But they don't quite understand this. Therefore, our plans to create beautifully and with quality and to enjoy together with investors and the end user the properties that will be produced as a result.
Valentin, I'm just curious to ask you a question as an architect, as a very creative person. What inspires you in Dubai?
100%. When I first came here, it was probably just 6 years ago. I was incredibly infected by the energy. During my 2 weeks of vacation, I felt the speed of everything happening and the energy. Understanding, in principle, that I already have quite a lot of experience in construction and, in general, in the topic of relationships and issues within the production process. Everything I have seen around, with the speed and budgets at which it all happens, cannot help but stir up feelings inside a person who is living through projects and construction. And so the idea popped into my head about 6 years ago while lying by the pool with my wife. And we were jokingly discussing how it would be nice to work here in principle. And that was it. The topic was forgotten for about 4 years. Here. And in the end, we've been here for 2 years. And we are immersing ourselves in this. So, it doesn't stop exciting you. We are diving into this energy.
I don't know, here. Well, I completely agree that every city has its own energy. I 100% understand what you're talking about, because when I came here, having lived in Turkey for 2 months before that, I thought that was it. Turkey was the country where we would settle down to live. But after living there for 2 months, I realized that everything, damn it, is just not my energy at all. I think I need to fly to Dubai. I arrived, and it took me just 2 days to understand that the energy of the city, I can't even say. The people who surrounded me during those 2 days is really mine. The energy of the city is truly exhilarating. I just asked a question. The energy of Peter and the energy of Dubai are completely two different energies. Totally different. Yes, and that's why, as someone who has lived in St. Petersburg for many years and launched many projects there, I was simply curious to know how you feel in Numai, even from the perspective of the climate.
I believe that anyone who is moving forward and always has some thought or idea about what they are striving for, what they want to see, how they envision themselves, what projects they would like to pursue, and what kind of people they want to be surrounded by. In general, basically, whatever you are going to do, it guides you through life to where you need to be. And the question is whether you will take that step or not. I think that is natural. I would say this, I would give it to somewhere from fate. Probably I need to live here for a while. And by the way, I don't always. There are people who are so categorical that they say Dubai is an artificial city and everything here is not right and the weather is not what it should be. Well, if you don't like it, don't live here. In fact, the issue here is energy. Perhaps this stage in life will come to an end. This will eventually pass. We will build what is needed here and move on. However, at this stage of development that we are in, Dubai allows for rapid growth. Decisions are made quickly here, and we will reach the indicators we need faster, enabling us to grow. The company we all dream of. And from here, we won't leave. In fact, there are a lot of questions throughout life and daily life that can resist this, sometimes even in terms of climate. But something always brings you back. In St. Petersburg, you relax, sitting surrounded by pines, bays, people, restaurants, food, and service. You arrive in one of the best cities in the world, but after a couple of weeks, there's always something buzzing around. Well, it's about time to return to the construction site. So I don't know, maybe I should summarize it again, probably some kind of energy.
I want to emphasize once again that we are not a fit-out company. We are not builders, as some may be accustomed to calling us. Project management in the fields of renovation and construction, as well as development. And in conclusion of our dialogue, I would like to reiterate that we invite everyone to our events on November 22nd at the Inner Race Hills Hotel. We are also always open to dialogue. We invite you to the office, invite you to email, and feel free to write on WhatsApp if you are shy. Please visit our website. Everything is on dcigroup.ie. For more information, see you soon.
Our potential investors and brokers a bit of the market, the opportunities in the market from a different perspective, because we are all used to working with off-plan properties, and now the market is gradually shifting towards the secondary market, meaning we are transitioning there. You have the opportunity to collaborate under completely different conditions at a completely different level and with a completely different level of quality. If you have any questions, feel free to write in the comments under our video. Throughout the video, we have provided links to the website and links to social media. The guys are open to dialogue, get to know each other, communicate, and expand opportunities for yourself as well as for your potential ministers. Thank you.